Superheroes. Now before I get anything out there about superheroes, I want to say that I do have a heavy preference for Marvel over DC. Now given that I intend to be making a plethora of these sorts of superhero related videos in the future, including reviews, opinions and other things, I thought I'd just start off with a little top 10 list. Now some of this top 10 may contain spoilers for the characters and their development as characters, so if you would not like to be spoiled, if you see a character that you like and you don't know everything about them, skip it, because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. And because this is a top 10 list, I do feel like I have to justify why they're in the position they're in, and why they're in the top 10 in the first place. So, in a particular order, from 10 to 1, here are my top 10 favourite superheroes. Now, to start off with, number 10 is Wolverine. And for me, he's in my top 10 because of his history, and he was the first character I looked in depth at, at his history. Because, other characters I'd read and I'd be like, oh, he's cool, but I never looked in his history. And then I looked into Wolverine's, and he basically got me addicted to comics in 2006, and I don't regret that at all. Also because he owns one of the best quotes out of Marvel Comics. I'm the best I am at what I do, but what I do isn't very nice, and I love that quote. And I can't think of a reason he shouldn't be in my top 10, even if at number 10. At number 9 we have Iron Man. Now I feel like I'm in a small niche who actually paid attention to Iron Man pre-2008's film, because I used to go into comic book stores and I used to discuss things that I liked, and I said Iron Man and people were like, what? It's like that happens so often, and I was just like, this is a character that I've been into since, well, just after I got into comics. It must have been mid-2006, and he's one of the characters that I paid most attention to because he's really cool when you look into his history. At number 8 is the only DC character on the list, and that would be Green Lantern. Specifically the Jeff Johns interpretation of Hal Jordan's Green Lantern, because he's a character that I have followed since around, I think it might have been Blackest Night, and Black Lanterns, is it in the emotional spectrum, are stuff that really got me more into depth with comic book history. I looked into history. I didn't look into the now. I looked into the past and got comics from the past. I got back issues. I did not stay up to date with current series, and then I started reading some of the current Green Lantern runs, and I was like, wow, this is good, and so I stuck with it. The number 7 on the list is the only female on my top 10, and it is Shadowcat, more commonly known as Kitty Pryde. Now I'll admit that Kitty is a character that I originally found through the animated television series X-Men Evolution. Admittedly, that is how I found a lot of heroes, but I didn't really look into any of them until I said 2006. But she was a character that I really enjoyed in that series, and then as soon as I finished that series, and once I got back into comics, I was like, where can I find her? And then I found more X-Men comics, and I read those, and I found her in them, and I was like, I like her. She's very attractive. Okay, yes, that is not the only reason she's on the list, but attractive as well. So I think I'll leave it there. Attractive, power, and good. Number 6 on my list is a guy who really blows my mind, the Punisher. Now every time I read a Punisher comic, I am just blown away by almost every panel of action, because it's just so much action flung at you at the one time. It is I can't comprehend the amount of death that I have read through Punisher comics. And it's just, when I read one, I want to pick up another one immediately. I like it when he interacts with other heroes. I liked it when he saved Spider-Man. I liked it when he fought Captain America. I like it when he does anything. It is really, really blows my mind sometimes. The number 5 on the list is Silver Surfer, and he's the first cosmic guy that I've mentioned, and he's a freaking amazing cosmic guy. He's the original Herald of Galactus. Now Silver Surfer is a guy who I have come to say is friggin' amazing, based on his amazing history with Galactus and his planet, and as Noran Rad, and then as Silver Surfer. And I just love the way that he's just he's amazingly powerful, and he's amazingly conflicted in the fact that he has to work for Galactus, but doesn't really want to. And if he could just get past Galactus, then he could just be great and powerful and amazing, and the power cosmic is great. But unfortunately, Galactus, dick. Number 4 on the list, Captain America. Now Captain America is a guy who I originally found in the 1994 Spider-Man animated series. I genuinely thought he was a joke character, just like this guy who was just painted in the flag of America, and I was like, is this a joke? And I was just like, I was laughing at him. And then I realised, he's a freaking super soldier. He was one of the guys I read into back when I got into comics in like 2008, it must have been when I read up on him. Right after Iron Man, and there was mention of a film maybe getting made, and I was like, so he's not a joke character for that animated series, he's an actual character. So I was like, I'll look into this guy, and I did, and he freaking punched Hitler out. That is... I can't even, to be honest. I look at Captain America and I think, yeah, top 10 mate, top 10. Now number 3, originally not a hero, but in my opinion, now a hero, Deadpool. Now Deadpool is the freaking greatest hero ever. Just like guns and shit, and basically Wolverine, but with guns, like, yeah. Deadpool is just... And I really hate that they butchered him in X-Men Origins Wolverine. Just horrible. And I really hope he gets a film adaptation soon, because he so deserves one that goes well. And he's just... I love the way that he's just amazing as a character. He's a mercenary, so technically he can be for good or bad. But he's still a hero. So yeah, Deadpool. And number 2, my second favourite superhero of all time is the Scarlet Spider, Ben Reilly. As I've mentioned before, I watched some animated series like the 1994 Spider-Man, and when I got back into comics, that was something I read into. It was at the end of the series, it had the Clone Saga. I wanted to look more into that, and then I read all of the Clone Saga. And the Clone Saga, for those of you who don't know, is like one of the best and worst ran storylines in Marvel Comics ever. But the character development was weirdly like up and down and up and down. So anyway, Scarlet Spider, top notch, very good hero. And finally, my top favourite numero uno character in comics, Spider-Man. I just mentioned the Clone Saga. The Clone Saga was really good and really bad, but really good at the same time. And then you look at his character development in Civil War, and then how it was ruined by the One More Day era. And then it gave you Brand New Day, and Brand New Day was pretty good. And then there was more development of just random stuff for like 100 issues. And then they ruined Spider-Man with Superior Spider-Man. Doc Ock in Spider-Man's body. It was a good thesis, but Dan Slott can't write it. I'm continuing trying to read it as well with Superior Spider-Man, but just the amount of, just like the way that they're trying to tag in other heroes, like they're bringing in Spider-Hero, which is probably going to be Miles Morales, they're bringing in Spider-Man 2099, and they're all fighting him, and no one's getting like, oh look, that isn't Peter, that's Doc Ock, or that's not Peter, that's someone else, or Peter's gone frickin' crazy. Someone should get a frickin' clue and realise that that is not Peter Parker. No one has really noticed, and someone has to before Doc Ock does something really stupid. And that is my 2 cents on Superior Spider-Man. But genuinely, Peter Parker needs to come back, or someone needs to figure out that's Doc Ock. So Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, number 1. Superior Spider-Man, let's not discuss. So anyway, ending on that little rant and rave, I've been Aiden's Just Me, and I will see you probably on Tuesday. Thanks for watching.